Hello everyone and a very warm welcome to our presentation. My name is Nabila Nurhaliza and together with my research partner Kania Anindya Ayuna, I'm honored to present our research titled The Effectiveness of at Pandawara Group TikTok account in raising followers awareness about the dangers of plastic waste. In today's digital era where social media platforms like TikTok play a significant role in shaping public opinion, we wanted to explore how such platform can also be powerful tools for environmental advocacy. In this presentation, we will walk you through our research background, methodology, findings, and the implication of our study. Let me begin by explaining the background of this study. Plastic waste in Indonesia remains a serious environmental issue, posing significant threats to both ecosystem and public health. According to BPS data from 2022, around 7.96% of the population still disposes of waste into rivers or drainage system, which contributes to pollution and increases the risk of flooding. Despite these impacts, public awareness of environmental hygiene in Indonesia is still relatively low, and the study explores how social media, particularly TikTok, can be powerful tool to promote environmental awareness, especially regarding the issue of plastic waste, which continues to be a major concern in Indonesia. We choose Pandawara Group as the focus of this research because of their impactful environmental campaign and real-life cleanup actions that have gone viral and reached million viewers on TikTok. Their movement started as a response to the flooding in their neighborhoods caused by garbage-clogged rivers. Motivated by this personal experience and the lack of public concerns, they began taking direct action by cleaning the environment and sharing their efforts through TikTok content. This research aimed to analyze the effectiveness of the TikTok account at Pandawara Group in raising their followers' awareness about the dangers of plastic waste. The study used the stimulus organism response or SOR theory as the theoretical framework. Now I will explain the research method used in the study. To begin with, we formulated two hypotheses. The alternative hypothesis states that the TikTok account at Pandawara Group is effective in raising awareness. On the other hand, the null hypothesis states that the TikTok account at Pandawara Group is not effective in raising awareness. This study applies a quantitative research method with a descriptive survey approach to assess the effectiveness of the TikTok account at Pandawara Group in increasing awareness about the plastic waste. The research instrument used was an online questionnaire which measured two key variables, social media content as variable X and followers awareness as a variable Y. To ensure the credibility of the data, we conducted validity and reliability tests. And for the analysis, we used the coefficient of determination test and the t-test assisted by SPSS software. A total of 100 respondents were selected using simple random sampling, and the number was calculated using the Slovene formula. And for the primary data were collected through online questionnaires, while secondary data were gathered from social media analytics, books, journal, and previous research studies.
Okay, thank you, Nabila. Now is the credibility of the data. For the validity was assessed using the criterion that the calculated correlation coefficient must exceed the critical value. Each item in variable x and y had correlation coefficient higher than the airtable value of 0.1966. A total of 38 items were deemed valid and suitable for use in the research questionnaire. Reliability testing was conducted to assess the consistency of the instruments using Cronbach alpha as the matrix. Variable x with 22 items had a Cronbach alpha of 0.961, and variable y with 16 items had a Cronbach alpha of 0.936. The items under both variable x and variable y exceeded the threshold of 0.60, indicating that they meet the criteria for reliability. The coefficient of determination assesses how well the independent variable explains variance in the dependent variable. The coefficient of determination was 0.709, indicating that the effectiveness of social media content on followers' awareness through TikTok account Pandawara Group is 70.9, while the remaining 29.1% may be explained by other factors not examined in the study. The t-test was used to determine whether the independent variable had a statistically significant effect on the dependent variable. A significance level of 5% was applied. Based on the result of the t-test, a value of 15.447 was obtained, indicating that the t calculated is greater than the t-table value of 0.1966. Therefore, the alternative hypothesis is accepted and the null hypothesis is rejected. The study measured social media content using the seven dimension. Among these, the concrete and Carteos dimension showed a significant influence in increasing followers' awareness, with a p-value of less than 0.001 for concrete and 0.010 for Carteos. This data represent the indicators with the highest percentage scores. The concrete dimension reflects logical and consistent messaging, with 83% of respondents strongly agreeing that Pandawara's content shows environmental concern. The cortex dimension assesses message clarity for the audience, with 72% strongly agreeing that the environmental message were understandable. However, the lowest index in the social media content variable came from the statement regarding type of free content, indicating some uncertainty about the content's accuracy. To measure followers' awareness, the study used three dimensions. The first one is general belief or values. The result is 85% strongly agreed on the importance of maintaining environmental cleanliness from plastic waste. The second is personal attitudes. 80% strongly appreciated individuals who keep the environmental clean. And the third is information or knowledge. 81% strongly knew that littering can cause environmental problems. The lowest score in the followers' awareness variable came from the statement about understanding how to manage plastic waste. This indicates that many of Pandawara's group followers still lack knowledge on how to properly manage plastic waste. The study aims to examine the effectiveness of the TikTok account Pandawara Group in raising followers' awareness of the dangers of plastic waste. The findings indicate that the concrete and Corteos dimension of the 7 Cs model of social media content were the most influential in increasing awareness. However, the coherent and complete dimension were found to be less effective, suggesting that while the content is emotionally engaging and relatable, it still lacks logical structure and comprehensive information. These findings imply that the effectiveness of digital communication is not solely determined by how emotionally impactful or relatable the content is, but also by how logically structured and complete the information presented. In other words, while emotionally charged content can generate attention and resonance among followers, a lack of clarity of completeness in the message may hinder a holistic understanding of the environmental issue being addressed. In terms of interpretation, the majority of respondents report strongly agree to the items reflecting the influence of the content, indicating that the stimulus provided was sufficiently strong to elicit the intent response. Nevertheless, the study acknowledged certain limitations. Some indicators, such as the logical flow of message delivery and the completeness of the information, were rated low. Theoretically, the SOR framework is relevant as it effectively explains how visual and verbal communication in TikTok content can trigger awareness and even attitude change. In this case, the Pandawara content meets the three key elements of the model: stimulus through the visualization of real actions, organism through active followers interaction, and response in the form of positive attitude towards environmental preservation. Overall, the novel findings of this study affirm that social media, particularly TikTok, can serve as an effective environmental campaign tool, especially when designed with emotionally resonant and inspirational content. However, to maximize its effectiveness, the logical structure and completeness of the content must be enhanced. Next. Based on these findings, it is evident that the social media content variable has been proven effective in influencing followers' awareness. The t-test result exceeds the t-table value, indicating that the null hypothesis is rejected and the alternative hypothesis is accepted. This suggests that the social media content on the TikTok account Pandawara Group is effective in raising followers' awareness about the dangers of plastic waste. The effectiveness of social media content in increasing followers' awareness was recorded at 70.9%, with the remaining 29.1% influenced by other factors. However, considering that a portion of awareness remains unexplained by the content alone, it becomes essential to acknowledge the complexity of digital influence. This opens the door for broader investigation into other contributing factors and platforms, providing a valuable foundation upon which to draw meaningful conclusions. Okay, that's all. Thank you.